Hello, welcome to Good Games Well Played, episode 184. I'm Clint, aka JCM. With us this week is Messiah.
Hello.
And Isley's laptop died.
Finally.
Finally. Yeah, he's been talking about getting a laptop a long time. And, he's always, right on the cusp. And unlike me, he has more control, probably, primarily due to finances and whatnot. I remember when I was looking for stuff and I just got Zaya as the demon on my shoulder, like, do it.
You
Do
eat.
it. Like when I bought my, and then when I bought my PC, I was also there going, do it. And so I got to make sure I don't need anything else. Bad influence. No, but
You eat.
hopefully he was waiting for Black Friday sales, and now that we're here, there are some, just not as big. It's interesting, because he was looking at Lenovo, and Lenovo usually has a lot of really good sales. Typically, their back to school sales are really good in September, but he wasn't looking to get one then, and they weren't quite as good as they were in previous years, which is curious. And now the ones he was looking at, some of the gaming laptops, their Legion Pro and their Legion Slims, they're only 28% off, which is still a lot for over $1,000 laptop. But it's not like I think when I bought my laptop, my Legion 5 Pro back years ago, it was I think high 30s on the discount. It was a back to school sale. So it was really good. And then when I bought my Lenovo PC, there's also a deal going on at the time as well. I forget what the percentage was, but it's also a pretty good deal. So they usually have some good stuff. So hopefully you can find something too, because I know that he also uses it as his work computer. So now he's lamenting the fact he has to go into the office because he can't work from home if he has no computer to do so. But that's unfortunate. I mean, I feel like there's a lot of PC deals. He's just adverse to getting to PC because he wants something more portable, which I can understand. But I'm also wondering, I wish I knew how much he used the portability of his laptop now. You know what I mean? Because he goes out, he goes hiking, he does all that stuff. Taking a laptop there. When you travel, sure, take it if you go see family. But typically, he just talks about taking the Switch, not his laptop. But I feel like getting a PC would be a good investment. But if you can find a good deal on a laptop, go ahead and do that. Or get a Stream Deck or something. But yeah, so he will not be here, and who knows when he will get a new computer. But anyways, there's not a lot that happened. We're in the holidays. Thanksgiving's coming up in the US, so no one's announced anything. We had some new releases with the Dragon Quest III HD 2D remake. That came out, or at least is coming out. I usually base it on the reviews, but if reviews come out before a game releases, then it could be after the fact. But I know that's on the way, if it's not out already. The Stalker 2 Hearts of Chernobyl came out on PC and Xbox. It's on Game Pass as well, so you can play it there after multiple delays from that one. It is out now. I'm curious if that'll get a PlayStation release. I never played the first Stalker because I think that was the original Stalker was a PC exclusive, right? Did it ever come to? It might have come to Xbox event at one point, but I never played it because there was a time there because I think it must have been Xbox that 360 era, right? Let's see, Stalker.
I feel like I've seen it for console,
Yeah, it
but came out
I
2007.
never
played it, so.
It came out 2007. It eventually did come to PS4, Switch, and Xbox One, but that must have been a re-release on the store, so I wouldn't have played it. But I never played it back in the OG days when it was out. Yeah, because it was only on Windows. Initially, it was a Windows exclusive, so I never played because I heard a lot about Stalker Shadow of Chernobyl back in the day. That, and I wish I can remember the other one. That was one of those games. Okay, this is one of those PC games that people always reference in some fashion, that Crisis and whatnot. It's it was in that kind of bucket, it felt like. But yeah, that's one of the new releases. But yeah, other than that, like I said, not a lot of news. Just primarily a bunch of sales stuff. Last week we talked about that upcoming patch for Star Wars Outlaws that was it might have been last week, could have been the week prior. They're working on a patch to kind of fix some stuff. That 1.4 patch finally came out. There's an overview video you can look up online where they kind of talk about how they changed some stuff. One of the changes they did make that I liked is you can pick up these unique heavy weapons, but they really restricted where you could use them. If you had to ever do any climbing, you had to drop it, or doing any sort of traversal, you just had to get rid of it. So it was this weird, they kind of limit you, oh, you can only use it here. They've also increased, I think, the ammo on some of them, but they also changed a bit of the shooting mechanics, got rid of a lot of that stealth requirements to where there's no more fail states if you do get stealth. The problem I think about that, though, is the areas that they show is when you sneak into a rival faction's base and you're trying to do a mission to steal some information. But if you kill people in that faction, it increases your notoriety or your negative standing with that faction. So I'm like, you're still incentivized to sneak because if you just kill them, it's like I did always think that was weird though, because I'm like, okay, well, if I kill them, like if no one spots me or the alarm doesn't get raised, as long as I kill all the witnesses, no one knows it was me, right? That's killer talk, but you know what I mean? Like, unless they raise the alarm, like, yo, K-Vest just murdered a bunch of us, lower her standing with the guild. Like, that's always kind of a weird thing. Like, why would you? It's like when you kill someone in a game and everybody in the zone gets alerted to your presence. It's like they didn't have time to radio. I shot the dude in the face. Like, why does everybody suddenly know where I'm at?
They're all wearing like heart monitors or something.
Yeah, it's the Rainbow Six Vegas 2 issue where it's like you kill one terrorist and now everybody knows where you are. It's like, okay, whatever. But I am curious to go back and try it and see. They did some visual upgrades to it as well. But I'm looking, and new content came out for it. So I should download that update and try to play it and see how different it feels. But then outside of that, the only other thing was they announced Final Fantasy XIV Mobile with Tencent Studios spearheading development. So what the heck happened? Where did this come from? This, you put this in Discord, and then shortly later IGN reported on it. Like, what is happening?
I wish I knew. I wish I could say. I wish I knew what was going through their heads. Why? I have so many thoughts. Why did the 11 mobile get canceled? Numerous reasons. Fine, whatever. Listen, Echoes of Vana'diel just came out in 14, and when it was announced, a lot of people went to 11, learned about 11. This was like prime opportunity for them to revitalize that project and basically make a mobile MMO or a single player experience of that game. And I don't know, maybe release it in chunks in the expansions over time, you know, just no. They made Final Fantasy XIV Mobile, and it's still an MMO type of game, supposedly. But in the trailer, it was fairly obviously all just a Realm Reborn stuff. Right. They only show Titan. It's the characters are all in their level 50 artifact, blah, blah, blah. The assumption is that it's all Realm Reborn. The level cap's going to be 50. But some of the skills that the jobs were using were either different or they were skills that the classes get later. Like, one example I can think of is the Dragoon had Stardiver, which is not a skill you get until like level 80, I think, in like the actual game. So I was like, obviously there's not a lot of information now, and I did see one, I can't remember where it is now. It must have been IGN that had the interview with Yoshida where he said there's going to be no gacha in it. It's going to be like a game basically, in an MMO. I know why they did 14 because it's like the hot new shit, but why not 11? It was already in the works. It got canceled because of like dev hell, I guess. It just seems so weird. And obviously this has been in the works for a while, but it just seems so weird that they would have an 11 full Alliance Westline raid crossover everything and not use this opportunity to revive that project and be like, I don't know, do both of them. I don't give a shit. Like, do both. But I don't know. Maybe I'm biased, obviously, because Vana'diel is my home forever and ever and ever. Maybe it's just the timing. It's so weird.
Yeah, I wonder if it's something too, like where, obviously this might not be the case, but it feels like it could be for a Japanese studio where it's like 11 on mobile probably would have looked like had the potential to look way better than 11 on PS2 and PC back in the day. If you made it like, so now you have a version that's not, you know, quote unquote the inferior because it's mobile, but it's like a smaller experience, but it can look drastically better than the OG one versus downporting 14 as is now and having it be more just 1-to-1 and not have to worry about that discrepancy in fidelity and feature set, I suppose. Like, because
Mhm.
I like the idea of 11, like, but that's also what I want. Like, if you're gonna put it on mobile and it can look better, make it look better. Like, I would just run around, especially if it was very solo friendly. I would have played that on mobile. But yeah, they say here in this post, Yoshida says it's been 11 years since FF14 2.0 Realm Reborn launched, and this new mobile game will be a sister to FF14, aiming to recreate the grandeur of the original story and combat mechanics on mobile devices. Non-combat features such as Disciples of Land and Hand will also be faithfully implemented, and we look forward to growing alongside the passionate FF14 community. I feel like it must be just a way to get into that market in China, because they talk about launching in China first and then everywhere else. So I'm like, because I know they lifted the ban on consoles in China a couple of years ago, like PlayStations and Xboxes, I believe. I think they didn't re-implement that, right? And
Not
then
that I know of.
so I guess there, but it's also like maybe they can't play 14 because of the internet, or because you have to have. Does I forget 14? Does 14 do its own little like play online kind of implementation? Isn't there that bit?
Well, it
Like
has its own launcher.
yeah, so
Yeah, and you have to pay subscription for it, so I
I,
don't know if that affects it.
yeah, I wonder if like if there's a thing about paid MMOs in China, maybe like I don't know, and that's why they get Tencent to do it, because like okay, mobile's easier to do, and I think don't they have like strict rules there for in China on like kids playing games like that? There's like a super limitation that they do. It's like an hour or whatever, so maybe they have more
Mm.
time on mobile.
I don't
Which
know. I know that there's one in Korea, but I'm not sure about China.
Yeah, in 2021, China introduced regulation restricted teens under 18 of age from playing online video games for more than 3 hours per week. Some of China's
Hmm.
biggest internet giants have looked to preempt regulations further, tightening, but this is in 20. So maybe, and China floats 2 hour daily limit on smartphone screen time. So this came a couple of years ago. I'm sorry, that's from August of last year about the mobile. So I'm wondering if like maybe that didn't pass. It was just a proposal. It never got hit. But because of the limitations on console, they're like, oh well, the back door to those gamers is mobile. Like they're not going to restrict their mobile access. So maybe that's yeah, interesting.
Maybe, but I mean, you can play 14 in China. They have a
Yeah,
China like client and everything. I mean,
yeah.
obviously it has different restrictions and it's behind on content a little bit, same as like South Korea, but uh, yeah, maybe it's like
It
more
it
accessible.
it must be the mobile market, because they talk about how like in Japan like people weren't buying like big consoles because you need the TVs and everyone's got the small apartments. It's like mobile, like then that's why the Switch did so well and mobile does so well, is because that region seems to prefer, from all the I try to go back and find those data metrics that we used to see, where like mobile's like really high. That's why Tencent has, and there's like so many mobile games that come out of that region. So I'm wondering if like if it's just because of the way people play. Like maybe if we can get them to play more on the mobile, but it's like, is there cross progression and save for new characters on the mobile?
I
Like it,
highly doubt it. The only thing I can
yeah.
think is that when oh, I don't remember when it was, but before Dawn Trail, and I think even before Endwalker, because of the success of Shadowbringers, they reworked a lot of um, early A Realm Reborn and early Heavensward quests. Like they condensed some things and they adjusted rewards and stuff so you don't get this stuck in a loop of like you can't do the next quest because you have to do side quests to level or stuff like that. They kind of like made it so that you can just play the MSQ and keep up with it. The only thing I can think is that the mobile version is even further condensed, where it's just like,
Hmm.
here's the story without so much of like the typical MMO like filler stuff. We're going to condense this even more. There's going to be like maybe some of the iconic offshoot things, but they won't take up as much time kind of thing. But it's just like, if you just want the story in a more bite-sized or convenient format, you can play the mobile version and do that. But yeah, it's got to be like, it has to be separate, basically. Like you create a new character and you have your mobile character and you have your full game character.
Hmm.
I don't see how they could have like a cross save if they're going to have like reworked skills and different gameplay mechanics and stuff like that. I mean, the only thing I could think is crafters could be the same, which I guess would be okay because like I just recently got back into getting my crafters caught up again and my gatherers and stuff. So it's like, sure, if I could do that on the mobile on my character, that would be fine because it's not really that involved or anything. But I don't know. It's just weird. It's so weird. And I know there's not a lot of information out. They're gonna put more details, and it's still a ways off, and they're gonna go through all these betas and early access and everything like that. But it's just like, why not 11? Bring that back.
Yeah.
I was so looking forward to that. And now it's a game that I've played through the story multiple times already. I want the Vanadil one back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, we'll see how it goes. I'd be curious to see. Because, yeah, if it's separate progression, like, then why would I want to play it? Unless it was, like you said, super streamlined and way more solo-friendly. I mean, you can always still do a lot of stuff solo, but, like, if that streamlined solo bit, I guess I'd be like, okay, I'm on vacation. I'll just roll a character and do some stuff. But, I mean, I don't know. You don't really want to restart the early bits of an MMO, typically.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'll be curious to see how it does. But and then yeah, aside from that, there wasn't much else. Like a lot of Black Friday deals. Sony has some deals in their store. Xbox has them. I'm not seeing many on Steam, which is weird. Like I know on PlayStation, Pacific Drive is on sale for like it's like 48% off for PlayStation Plus. So it's like $14. I'm gonna end up getting that, and all those deals go until December 2nd. So you got a while to make a choice there, and then. The Cyberpunk DLC is on sale for only 20%, but and then Space Marine 2 is on sale for 20% off as well. But I think I'll just pick up Pacific Drive because I am interested in playing that. And after all the updates they've had, it seems like it's in a good place now to get that. And it seems like it'd be fun. Also, PSVR 2 has got a huge discount. The PSVR 2 Horizon Call the Mountain bundle is like $250 off. So it's like it's $350. I was like, damn.
That is
like,
the cheapest it's probably ever going to be until
yeah.
the next one comes out and that one drops.
Yeah, and then the MetaQuest 3S that comes with the Batman Arkham Shadow game, which is supposed to be really good, is the 128 gigabit is $300. So that one's on discounted right now as well. So it's like, damn, there's like really good pricing on. I'm looking at, I'm like, I'm really tempted to do the PSVR 2 one because that's so much off, and it comes with Horizon Call of the Mountain. But if I went the MetaQuest 3S route, Half-Life Alyx is also on sale on Steam right now for really low. And you can play it on there. It's not the best version of the VR, but it's still really good. And obviously I can play it on the PSVR 2 with the link, but it doesn't have all the feature sets. And there's some, I don't know if they ever ironed out some of the wonky connection issues. Digital Foundry talks about a lot about how it wasn't a perfect implementation when they first released it. But yeah, I was like, you know what? I was like, I guess I could get this. It could be fun if I get the MetaQuest S. I should look and see what other games are on sale. But I was like, I kind of want to jump on one of these because I feel like this is like a great, like Black Friday seems always to be a great time to jump on, these deals. I know I do want to play that VR. Oh my God, what's the game called? Metro. The Metro VR game that's coming out on PlayStation. It's supposed to that looks really good. I want to get that. But I don't know when that comes out. I'll have to look at the library to see like what else is on PSVR 2. Like there's a whole host of things that got ported from PSVR to PSVR 2 that I never played that I always was interested in. Moss and whatnot. So I guess I should check the library and see and I think I have some that were part of PlayStation Plus that I have, but both great deals. $300 for a VR headset, especially that standalone one for the MetaQuest 3S. And I'd have to get the link to hook it up to my PC in order to play Half-Life Alyx, but that's not that bad. I don't know.
I feel like that would be worth it for me just to play No Man's Sky in VR.
Oh, that's right. You're right. Damn it, Zaya, you're selling me on it. Like I should do that because I have it on PC. So it's like that's where I should get it. It's not the best resolution on the headset, but I feel like that would still be.
I feel like that wouldn't matter after a while. I think you would just get used to it.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's not like it's super crazy low versus like it is LCD and not OLED, but I'm like it's a great entry level VR, and my only experience with VR is still back in PSVR 1, and I enjoyed that. So it's like this will clearly be better, and I won't need to worry about like put on the Valve Index or the Oculus or the HTC Vive. I don't have those as a frame of reference. So and plus those are like way too expensive. Damn, maybe I wonder how long the sale lasts for.
Do
I
it.
mean, is it Black Friday? Yeah, damn it. And plus it
But
gives you a 3-month trial of MetaQuest Plus. I wonder what that is. Must be like access to games. Yeah, what
a
is
streaming thing, maybe?
MetaQuest Plus? What is that? Available now on MetaQuest. Your VR subscription turbocharged. The games catalog has landed. How MetaQuest Plus works: you've more games for less. So for just $7 US monthly or $60 a year, get 2 curated titles added to your library each month, valued at up to unavailable total. That's so funny. After they're redeemed, they're yours. Is okay. So it's like it's a paid sub. It's like Game Pass. So it's like
Yeah.
every month you get 2 games. Find and get a range of FF experiences in your game catalog right out the gate, from top hits to hidden gems. Easy to play, built-in. Okay, so that'll actually give me access to I wonder what's in the catalog. Then can I see it like Game Pass? Like you can
I feel
browse.
like that's a great deal for VR because like you can just try shit.
Ooh, the Climb is there. Oh yeah, they have Explore Games catalog. They got I don't know, Fruit Ninja. That's okay. Kid would like that. I'm trying to explore the catalog here.
Saya would like that.
Yeah.
I want to play Fruit Ninja.
Green Hell
Beat
VR,
Saber?
that's available. Nice. Asgard Dress 2 is on there. Wait, this is games. Okay, that's in the games catalog. Okay, yeah, that's supposed to be really good. And that's like a long game too. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in here. Red Matter, I think that's supposed to be pretty good. Yeah, I'm looking at through all this list. Yeah, a lot of yeah, that could be really good. 3 months isn't bad. I hope it's like a redemption code, so I don't have to do it right away. So like I could play the Batman game, Half-Life Alyx, and then like with the Xbox Game Pass subscriptions that you get when you buy new computers, it's like you don't have to redeem those immediately. It's like it's a code. So I'm assuming it's the same way.
You could play through the library that you know you want to play, and then
I think I might be sold on getting this.
do it.
Damn. Yeah. See, there we go. This is what I'm talking about. And then I don't know. But anyway,
Can't spend my money, so I spend other people's money.
All right. Well, from that we can go ahead and move on. Like I said, not much else. I'm sure it'll be quiet next week. I don't know if people are available next week, we'll record next weekend, but it is the holidays. I know Isley will probably be out of town. Who knows if he gets a new computer by then, but we'll see. So maybe I'll be talking next time about, well, I ended up buying the MetaQuest 3S. But we'll see there. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the news. Like I said, nothing else, just a lot of deals, and that's it. So go ahead and jump into what we've been playing. I know you're playing 14 primarily. You said you were in Discord. You said you were doing the endgame fight, but you were just doing are you doing it for, because you did it previously, right? You're just doing it for like gear, I suppose.
Oh, I was just doing my one of my roulettes in the morning. I was trying to level Sage now because
nice.
I'm done with Viper.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've just been doing my roulettes. I started, like I said earlier, getting my crafters caught back up again, which is going really, really quickly. I don't know why they're just leveling so fast. I guess it's because I'm doing like the tribe quests with them. I don't know. It's just going really fast, and that's always appreciated because I actually despise crafting. It's just too convoluted. I don't want to get into it. But yeah, I've basically just been doing my weekly stuff, my daily stuff. I was leveling Viper. That's a ton of fun. I didn't think I would like it as much as I do because I'm not really like a melee job kind of person, but it's super fun. So I've been doing a lot of stuff on Viper. And then my next goal is to get Sage leveled and then either Dark Knight or Warrior leveled so that I can finish the role quests that came out with Dawn Trail. Because I think they added with 7.1, or it's going to be the 7.11, they added the like conclusion for all the role quests. So once you finish all of those, there's like an extra quest at the end that kind of brings it all together, and I always like doing those. It's a lot of fun. But other than that, not really much else. I'm kind of in a holding pattern until Fantasian comes out because I don't really feel like playing anything else right now. But Fantasian comes out not this coming week, but the week after, first week of December. So I'm really looking forward to that. And 7.11 for 14 comes out on Tuesday, and they're introducing the new Ultimate Raid. So probably in my spare time at work, I'm going to be watching World Races for that because that's always really fun to watch people race the new Ultimate fight. So that'll probably be just what I do until Fantasian comes out.
Nice. Yeah, I I ended up picking up, like we were talking about some, Black Friday sales and whatnot. I ended up grabbing Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown on PS5 was discounted like really low on Amazon. It's like the first physical game I bought in forever. But that's not going to arrive till Tuesday because I don't have Prime anymore. So I'm looking forward to that because I'm like, okay, I do want to play. I know great things. Obviously, the studio that did it is no longer. But yeah, I am looking forward to playing it because it was a pretty good game. So I'll play it next week at some point. But that's, again, not till Tuesday. And then, like I said, I will end up picking up Pacific Drive at some point. It's funny, speaking of Black Friday deals, like GNC, because I buy my energy drink from them, they'll send me promos a lot of time, like, oh, hey. And I always wait till I get like the promo sales before I buy any more of it. Mm-hmm. But they hit me with our Black Friday sale of buy one, get one 50% off. I'm like, you have that sale all the time. Like, it's so frequent. Like, by the time I go through 2 cases from the last sale, I'm ready to get 2 more cases. It's like, you do it like once a month. It's just like, this isn't specific to Black Friday. Because sometimes they'll do it like, they'll segment it like, oh, this product line is B1, get one 50% off, or this, the food, the snacks are, or this is, and this one's a store-wide promo. It's like, you're not fooling anybody. It's not a Black Friday deal. You do it every month, man. But whatever. But yeah, I finished. I guess I didn't finish. Obviously, after I finished Tunic, I'm playing stuff. I don't know if I was playing Icarus last week.
No, you said you were interested in it though.
Oh yeah, I talked about being interested, and then I ended up picking it up because I couldn't figure out what to play after I finished Tunic. So I ended up picking up Icarus this week, and because it's like a survival crafting first-person game with Tarkov-ish type elements. So it launched back in 2021, and the idea of it is that these planets have been terraformed, and your job as a contractor is to go down and survey the new terraformed planet to provide information back for future settlements. So it'll be like, hey, we're interested in this region. We want you to do some surveys of some zones, and then once you're done, that's the mission. And it gives you like, and this is how it originally launched, was that with these mission aspects. So you go down, you drop down in a pod close to the objective, weapons and equipment, OSP. So you have to build everything from scratch. You do the objective. Once you're done, you go in the pod and you go back up to the space station. And everything you built is done. It's essentially like it's gone. So you don't keep anything, but you earn currency, like in Tarkov, to where you can spend it in a shop to research things and buy stuff to assist you in future runs. So like I did a mission. The first thing I bought was, hey, give me a backpack. And this backpack gives me a slight boost in my speed. It gives me more slots and some other miscellaneous bonuses. So now when I go down, I can take this backpack with me. And then if I lose it, like if I drop on the ground, or I don't know how else it would get lost, or like I die somewhere, but I can't get back to my body, it's gone. But like in Tarkov, you can buy insurance against it if you want, and it will kind of refund you that item. But it's like early on, you don't need it. You just make another one. It's pretty cheap to make for currency wise. So that's kind of the loop. You go down, do a mission, you come back up, and it gives you like some of the missions give you like 7 IRL days time to do the mission, and it's all drop in, drop out co-op. And a lot of people didn't like that method of the missions. They kind of wanted to be like this. They wanted it to be an open world, like perpetual thing, but the map is huge. So they ended up patching in later a open world version of the game, where they retooled some of the missions to be more unique to just open world and that don't make sense in that setting outside of just a mission. So they retooled a bunch of the missions, and so now in open world versions, you can go down, you pick your landing spot. The difference is now if you have a mission that's far off, you have to go run there. So now you can build up your big base if you want, because that's what people kind of like, they like building a big base. They don't want to build a base, have it go away, and have to start again. Mm-hmm. So like, we want to build one big base. I'm like, okay, but there's no good modes of transportation. It's like, you just have to walk there. So now the gameplay loop for them is like, hey, this mission's far away. I have to go there, maybe make a temporary shelter, do the objective, come back to my base. So it's like, I don't know how far some of those missions are, because the map is huge. And I'm like, I guess if you want to do that, but I kind of like the mission aspect because it drops you close. And the best part of any survival game is typically those first few hours, right? It's like, or like in Civilization or Auction Not Included, like I always love the first bit where it's like, okay, planning out my stuff. It's like, okay, I know what I need to do. And as with the mission aspect of it, it's like, okay, as I get better and better, I know what I should be doing right away. Like you can buy stuff like, oh, you can buy like a cheap little tools to start with, but it's like the very basic. But I'm like, I know how easy it is to make tools. Like I just need to get a couple rocks. I make my pickaxe. I go farm. There's plenty of stone everywhere. I just go farm some stone, make the other items, make my knife, get some wood, make a spear. And in the beginning, it was like making a bed was like the hardest part because you needed like 40 fur, I think, to make a bed. And it's like that's so hard to get because some of the animals they're very skittish, and if you're not like spec'd into movement speed or stealth bonuses, like it's kind of tough. Now there are things you can do, like you can kill something and leave the body, and if you leave it for too long, it will attract predators. So like you can try to attract wolves, kill the wolves, and get their fur, but that can take a bit. So it's like eventually I got the cot, and the cot is just I don't have to worry about getting the fur right away. I can just focus on getting the wood and getting my tools up and running. And then it's like there's a tier tree. You can unlock different stuff you can build, yada yada, as you level up. And and everything you do gives you experience. It's like you're foraging, you're mining, whatever. And I like that loop of just like start again, build up a small base. I know what I need now. It's like, okay, the other day I did a mission where it's like the second mission I did, it was like, oh, you need to survey like another team went down to survey a region, and that team got attacked from like, I think it's like a competing company or something. And we need to investigate like what happened and take care of it. And so I had already done one mission, and it's like, this was clearly like, oh, kill some predators. I'm like, okay, this would be easy. I killed other predators my first run. This should be fine. So I go down and I survey the area. It's like a couple wolves. I take out the wolves, easy peasy. Go to another area, survey. I'm like tracking down the one that, and I find the den of like the big bad wolf. And I'm like, all right, let's do this. And it's like this NM wolf that comes out at night and like glowing eyes. And this thing just wrecks me. I have a hard time dealing with it. And it's like, it tells you on the mission, like it has a 4-tier difficulty system indicated by skulls. And it tells you like what tier of technology you should have available in order to be able to complete the job like effectively. And it was only a tier 1. So I have a lot of tier 1 stuff unlocked, and I go in there, I just have a hard time. And I end up abandoning that mission. So I got to go back to my ship and fly out of there. I do some other missions, and now I'm redoing that one. I'm like, okay, this one, I know now I have tier 2 stuff, and I also have access to like higher tier weapons, and I have better armor that I can get. So now I'm like, I bought like a bunch of defensive structures. So I'm like, ooh, what I'm going to do is like build this like defensive fortress with all these spikes around the fence and just build a ledge. And I'm just going to stand there and just shoot these guys with like arrows or throw javelins at them or something, like try to take them down because they won't be able to get into my base. Just a small little fort I'm going to do. And that's like my plan. And that's what I want to do now. But I really like it. I like, again, dropping down, restarting, everything. And especially because they give you so much time too. And you just get faster and faster and then, of course, as you complete missions, you get more currency to buy more stuff to help you out at the start of the mission. And then eventually it's like, you could just like, to get like iron items, you have to go find typically a cave that has the iron ore. And then you have to make all the components, build a small base because everything like has to be inside a shelter for whatever reason, which is a little annoying. I kind of wish it could be outside, but you build a shelter, put down your stuff, smelt the iron ore, get your ingots, yada yada, make your stuff. And eventually it's like, okay, well, I'm just going to buy the tools that are a tier past that, so I don't need to worry about that step anymore. I just have the higher tier tools. Now, those tools degrade still, and to repair them, you need to have like a repair kit for those unique tools. So I have to make sure at least my tier upgrades are high enough in so that I can actually do that. Because right now it's like if I have a wooden tool or a stone tool, it's like I use stone and wood to repair them. And then of course, as you level up, you do things like, oh, you harvest more wood every time you collect it, or you forge more ingredients when you're harvesting stuff. Like you do all these things that increase, you have better, the weight of the raw materials is less, you move quicker, you have better stamina, more health, like all that standard stuff. So it's like, as you keep doing these loops, you're always improving because you're leveling up. And it's fun. Every time you leave a mission, it tells you like what level you were when you started the mission. And you tell like, oh, I got like 4 levels on that mission. So that's kind of fun. And they give you a pretty good amount of points too to like dole out to your character each level to like get stuff unlocked, which I thought was really cool. And then you can have multiple characters, of course, if you want. And the loot that you buy from the store, it's all like 3D printed stuff, essentially, is shared across multiple characters. So you can have like a character in the open world version if you wanted, for some reason, like your friends are playing open world, but you're doing missions. You could do that and then share the tools between them. I really like it. I can understand why people don't like the mission structure and want it to be open world, but I'm all about it. And I was talking with someone in chat last night who was, because I was saying like the whole thing, I like the opening bits. And he or they mentioned a game called Against the Storm, which I remember someone talking about. It came out, I think, last year. And it's like a city builder where the objective is to build a city. And then once the city's up and running, you abandon it and you go build another city. And they all kind of feed into the loop. So it's that same style of get the city up and running. And then once it's established and you're in good standing or whatever you have to do, you go and you do it again. And like the objective is to keep building towns, which add resources back to like this main central hub that lets you unlock. It's got like roguelike elements and unlocks all this upgrade stuff you can do, yada, yada. And I'm like, oh man, that sounds like totally my jam. So I have that. I got to put that on my Steam wish list and hopefully that goes on sale and I'll end up playing that. But I really like it. I did have a moment last night where I had, and I put it in chat. Did I already say that? I feel like I said it twice, but I put in chat a little clip I did. But I was in my little base and I needed to sleep. And in order to sleep, you have to be in your shelter, in your cot, and the fire has to be in your fire pit, has to be going. So I light the fire pit, I go to bed, I wake up, I go and I turn the fire pit off. But then I'm like, oh, well, let's turn it back on to like get some meat or something like that. And I guess I thought I built it too close to the wall at first. But you can't because it'll do like a red outline. It says like, you can't put this here. On rewatching of the clip, what happened was I was standing too close to the fire. So I caught fire and I didn't notice immediately. I just heard the tick damage of the fire. I'm like, wait, am I on fire? And then I, being on fire, caught my house on fire. And I was like, whoa, what was happening? What's happening? And like, I panicked and I just tried to get out of the building. So I was right next to some water. I'm like, I need to run the water. And my whole building burned down. I was panicking. I was trying to I had to get my cot out. So my cot didn't burn down because that's something I bought from the store. And I was like, give me my cot. And I was like, luckily my fire pit, it's not like my fire pit's going to burn down. So I just had to wait for I was trying to like deconstruct my building, but I couldn't figure it out. I think I was like, cause you can only deconstruct buildings that have full HP, and I was trying to take out this wall. Like I couldn't take out the floor. It makes sense because the floor has walls built on it, so it's like it's not gonna let you take out the floor. But I couldn't take out the wall, and I realized, oh, I have a roof. Obviously, I should have just waited for the roof to get destroyed. It's like my whole building burnt down, and it was so funny. And chat was just like, they're like, oh no. So it was, and it was so funny because
he doesn't know.
The fire just like tanked the bit rate. Like if you look at that clip, like as soon as the fire starts, like I'm in the menu, like my camera's fine, and then once the fire gets going, it's like Twitch is like, nah, we can't deal with this right now. There's too much. So it looks like I just get all choppy. And that is the only downside about streaming this game is that it's a foresty game. So just like Sons of the Forest, it's not nice on the bit rate. Mm-hmm. And I talk about in chat, what I want to see is, there's so many streamers, not so many, but there's streamers I see where they have like a lot of borders around their gameplay window, which obviously reduces rendering requirements. And like kind of isolates what you need to render for the game in its own window, because like everything else in the overlay is static. Even if they're not moving that much in their camera, they're pretty static too. So it's like, okay, all the resources can just be put on what's actually moving. But the games they play typically don't require that much anyways, because they're like, it's like, okay, well, there's not much going on here. The bitrate's not going to tank if you played at full screen. But I'm wondering how well that would work if I do that, if I make an overlay and add like, the typical stuff like new sub, new follower on the bottom, and, just make some blank space with a little whatever in there. Maybe put myself in a virtual box and then keep myself in the corner and I kind of do that and see if I shrink it a bit, how much that helps the bit rate. Like, because I would like it if like, I wouldn't mind if the gameplay bit rate goes down if I could prioritize my camera. And there are plugins for OBS where you could tell it like, yo, prioritize rendering this region. So people can put it on. The idea there is you put it on your camera and you say like, always have your camera rendered, or always have this vertical slice in the center. If you're playing like a first person shooter, in the center of the screen, or like a big square in the center, always render, kind of like foveated rendering for the PSVR 2. So it's like, even if your bitrate tanks, people watching can still see this region clearly And if you're fighting someone, you don't care about what's in the peripheral necessarily. So it's like make this area as clear as possible. But then it does pull bits essentially from the other regions, so they will be worse than if it was just an average because you're weighting the rendering into that one spot. And I was like, I could do that, but I'll just try the frame thing, and I want to test that out. Maybe I'll do it. I keep meaning to do it, but I keep not doing it.
I think it depends on the game too, maybe, and maybe how much of the screen it's occupying. Because I do watch a streamer who has an overlay like that. He has like a border around the game. He has his camera in the bottom corner, and then there's like the border on the bottom that has alerts and stuff, and then there's chat on the side. And when he plays Vampire Survivors, sometimes he's just like pixels in his little camera, depending on what's going on. So I think there may be a limit to it, or like you said, in OBS you can set it to just be like, okay, maybe the rest of the layout is going to bitrate hell, but at least the camera is still being rendered in some kind of visibility.
Yeah, and as long as I don't sprint and I just walk through a forest, like even if all the foliage is changing around me, it's typically not that bad. It's only when I sprint that it's like the worst. So I try not to sprint as much as possible. Maybe what I should just like look up at the sky and run. And then man, the horses in the game are so aggro. They're like these weird horse boar hybrids. Like they got like kind of like a boar's head. They're so mean, man. And they're like they aggro you from pretty far off, and I hate them. And then, but also they're the baby ones have no like self-preservation. It's like, so you kill the big one because it aggro's, and the little one's just walking around. I'm like, well, you hit it and they don't run off. It just walks slowly. Like, well, my mom's gone, or my parents gone. And I'm like, all right, well, free stuff. Oh, and I learned the other day too. Like, the one thing that did bug me in the beginning was I was trying to build a base. I put down the walls. So I put down the floor and I put down 4 walls, and then I built a door. And then I go to put the door. Well, first I had one wall missing, so I'm like, I'll put the door here, and I figured like, oh, it'll snap into place. Like this is where the door goes, and then maybe I put a wall around it. That didn't work. I'm like, okay, well, can I put the door into a wall, and it just fixes it, does it automatically? It's like no. So what you have to do is you have to go when you're putting up a wall, you hold down R, which opens up a variant of the wall. So that like, that's how you build like a window. And there's one that's like a door frame specifically. So you build the frame that way, but you can't do that after. So like you build a hammer, which is the main thing you need to like deconstruct and repair your buildings. But I can't like bake the hammer, look at the wall, and then change the variant like in I think you can in No Man's Sky. And there's other games I play where like you can just look at it and change it, or like Fortnite style, like go into the editor and put in a window or put in a door, like in Fortnite. And I wish I could do that because that would make it a little cleaner. Like I don't like that I have to do the variant option first and then go from there and then change it back to whatever. It's like that's a little annoying. But that like drove me crazy. Like how the hell do I put a goddamn door in my building? But so yeah, that was annoying. And then yeah, it's just a good time on that one. I'm liking it. I'll probably don't know. I've put about 15 hours into it so far. I think because it is mission based, I feel like it could be a good game to where it's like, okay, after I finish this mission, it's like now I can kind of like take a break, play something else, and then do a night where I go back and like, okay, the goal tonight and maybe tomorrow is doing this mission. Do the mission, and then be like, okay, we're good. Now I can maybe hop, and it's like an easy game to bounce back and forth. Like do the mission, play something else, and then do a new mission. So it's like I kind of like that structure, and it's fun. Like I really enjoy it so far. I guess a good looking game too, and I like the concept too, like the story wise. Like I like that. I mean, because yeah, if you terraformed a new planet, I don't know why we would put pig horse hybrids down there. Maybe they happen naturally, but who knows? But I do wish caves showed up on the map more. There's like one mission where it was a resource collection mission. I just had to go down, collect a bunch of resources, put it in a pod, and it shoots itself back up into space to the station and be like, oh. And it's like a lot of the stuff only shows up in caves. I'm like, okay. And they give you the tool that you need to mine all that stuff. And I go in the caves, and there's 2 caves right next to each other, but I still didn't have all of one of the resources, so I had to like run around, look for another cave, and like they're kind of hard to spot on the map. I wish I could zoom in further, but there's like no good way to tell like, oh, a cave is clearly right here. Like, and so I'm so used to other video games where it's like if you find a cave, it puts a cave icon, or you could tell like the way a mountain kind of like goes in a bit. It's like, okay, that's clearly a cave entrance. So it's like finding the caves is a little rough, especially if it's gonna be like if I build anything out of iron. It's like, well, I need to find the caves to do that. I guess now I just know in this one region of the map where a lot of the caves are. Like I know where 4 caves are right now, and a lot of the missions I'm doing are in the one spot that has like 3 of the caves. So I'm like, okay, well that's good. But if I go to anywhere else, like the forest biome or the winter biome or the desert biome, I'm like, where are the caves? And there's this fun mechanic I like where it has a lot of weather effects in the game too. Like this terraform planet is very violent with its weather, but like it'll get like super windy and then trees fall down and like they'll just wreck your stuff if if you build the wrong spot. It's like, oh no, all the trees are coming down. But like usually when it's raining or like really bad weather and your character's getting adversely affected by the storm, if you find a big enough mineable rock, you could just mine out a little hole and just go crouch in it and like be safe from the weather and be like, okay, I'll just sit this out, maybe craft some stuff, eat some food. But so it's fun. I like that. But yeah, it's a fun game. I like it. It's very tough in those first couple hours if you do the wrong missions, but it's good. And yeah, other than that, like not much else. I'm looking forward to playing Prince of Persia, but my kid's right outside the door. He wants in, but I told him he has to wait. But yeah, man, it's weird. So like I put a lot of my single player games up on YouTube just so I can have them because it's saving gameplay footage on PC just takes up so much space, and it's a free repository of data on YouTube right now. Mm-hmm. So I like put all my stuff up there, and like Silent Hill 2 did okay. I mean, I don't care if it gets views, like it's just there. But I have Dredge and Tunic, and Tunic is now out there in full. I don't know what's up with people watching Dredge. Like I have so many more views on Dredge than any of my Tunic videos, and I don't know. And like I was talking about it on last night, where I was like, Dredge doesn't seem like a game you'd watch someone play unless it was someone who you typically watch for their banter. And whereas the Tunic is like, it's the puzzle game. Like if I'm going to watch anybody play anything, it's typically a puzzle game or like a Liza P, like a difficult game that I really love. And I want to see how they're doing, how they maybe give them tips if they allow backseating or something like that. But like I tuned in Tunic because once I beat Tunic, I'm like, okay, I can see why people would watch this. And I've watched people play it and yada, yada. But like, it's weird that I guess, yeah, no one just wants to watch Tunic, I guess. At least, yeah, I don't know why my Dredge videos popped off, but I guess people like fishing, I suppose. Like, I just want to see someone on a boat.
I feel like Tunic is a game where people want to watch clips of other people doing it, but not necessarily watch them struggle through some of it or like try to figure out the puzzles. They want to see the moment that it like clicks, or they want to see like when and how you figure stuff out rather than like watching a full playthrough. I obviously I watch games a lot and I have them on in the background, like playthroughs and stuff like that. So I like that. I like having that kind of like in the background and being like, oh, I see they're getting to this spot kind of thing. But I know that most people who do that probably are just like, I'd rather just see them get to the part that I'm waiting for.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what I'll do. Like when I watch someone play like a story game like Tlu or God of War. So I just I skip all the combat and I kind of go to the big story beats, see how they react, yada yada. And I guess for any game that has puzzles, it's like I mean, or with like a Souls game, like typically, I'm not going to watch someone spend 3 hours trying to beat a boss in a Souls game, but I'll watch their first couple struggles to see what they learn and then kind of like skip ahead to see that last fight. And I could see that for like Tunic, like, oh, same thing. You find someone, see them struggle with a puzzle, watch them work out, and then maybe scrub ahead to see, okay, where's that, like you said, that point where it clicks or they finally solve it. So like you're kind of like skipping. And I guess too, I should go look at the data and be like, okay, yeah, it has more views, but what's the retention?
Right.
You know what I mean? Versus just like clicking in, and is there like I wonder if you can see on the back end, like, how when you watch a video that's popular, you can see all the spots where people watched it the most. Mm-hmm. I wonder if you could see that on the back end. Because, yeah, I'd be curious, like, are the people who were watching Dredge watching it longer than the people, or sorry, watching it shorter than the people who are watching Tunic? Like, maybe it's like, it's less views, but more minutes, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that's like a big measure. I should go back and look at that. I mean, not that I necessarily care. I'm not trying to like pop off my YouTube. It's just, I like seeing how different social media platforms work, especially like I talked about with on stream as well with like Baldur's Gate, like how Instagram was way more into Baldur's Gate content than YouTube was for shorts and reels. Like all the Baldur's Gate stuff popped off on Instagram way more, but then YouTube liked I don't know if it pushed it more or what, but like I got way more interactions on my Silent Hill 2 shorts on YouTube than on Instagram. So it's like it's interesting to see like where something performs better, especially when they're uploaded at the exact same time. It's not like I space them out. So it's fun just to see like where different audiences are for different games, and then like what's being fed to people, differently on each of these platforms. It's just a curious, like I can't imagine trying to min max this kind of stuff if you were a professional, not a professional, like if you were like a full time like you content creator, like that's got to be just
a profession and your income.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it'd be different because if you have, like, I'm sure the more people that engage with your content, the more YouTube will also push it in the algorithm. But I don't know how Instagram and I don't use TikTok, so I don't know how different it is there as well. But man, I was looking at the requirements for like, and we talked about this thing previously, but like the YouTube requirements for monetization are really high. Yeah, it's just kind of nuts. But yeah, anyways, but yeah, I'm looking forward to playing more Icarus. Like I said, I would really like to play this like multiplayer. I think it would be a lot of fun. Especially because the mission structure, it's like, oh, hey, I'm doing the mission where I have to do this. I'm like, oh, I really like that one. No, I'll go help you out. Or like the resource collection one could have been fun because that one you could do faster. Because like, okay, I'll get these resources, you get those resources, yada yada. But yeah, it's a fun game. I enjoyed it a lot. It's weird too because like I don't know. I was like, it is one of those games that annoys me on the UI bit where if I play it in full screen, I can set the resolution and it makes it full screen at that resolution. Unlike Forever Skies, which is still in early access. And that's fine, but when I do borderless, it's the screen resolution. So it does that thing where I have to change my resolution on my monitor down to 1440p, so it doesn't do it. But it doesn't read the monitor, because my monitor will say like, oh, you set this resolution, but the capability of the monitor is still 4K. So the game still does borderless 4K. I'm like, okay, well, I'll just play it at like medium settings instead of high or ultra to be able to stream at the same time. So I don't have too many problems, but then I had an issue when I had it on high where the game was fine. Like I'm monitoring my GPU utilization. OBS is fine. I had no OBS issues, no drop frames. But then like one point I go back to my ship to like leave. And as soon as I get close to my ship, it's like suddenly frame rate and everything started just taking a crap. And I was like, what is going on? Like it was just so random. And then I had the same issue where it was like I was running somewhere just like I had plenty of times before, and then all of a sudden, like, the frame rate just started tanking. I'm like, are you, like, Fustrom calling, like, all the areas I haven't been, but you're loading in the next area just so the assets are preloaded, and that's what's happening here? Like, I couldn't understand why, so I just dropped it down to medium after that to kind of remedy the problem. But it's just weird little quirks like that, because I hate that when you do test streams in OBS, it's not fully representative of the actual experience of going live. It's like, I don't know why it's not one-to-one, because you can't see, like, is my camera laggy? You can't see that because it's not going to be lagging OBS unless it's an OBS issue or something, or a PC issue. But like if it's a stream issue, I'm not going to see it. But anyways, yeah, Icarus fun. I'm looking forward to playing. And I'm going to have like a ton of time on Wednesday too, because like I took the day off, and then the kids are going to be with the grandparents going somewhere that day because there's no school or daycare next week. And I'm trying to figure like, I feel like having that kind of time would be great to start something new. So that way you can learn it. I'm like, I guess I could either start Pacific Drive and just learn it all and play that all day, or till like 4 or something, and then, or I could do Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. So I'm like, I got to decide like what I want to play on Wednesday. But decisions.
Kind of stuck in that. You stuck in that pattern. And you're like, I don't know what I want to play next. I have so many options, but I don't feel any of them, and I don't know.
Man, that's like that's what happened with. That's why I ended up getting Icarus, because like I had so much stuff, but I'm like, I wasn't feeling anything after Tunic. I'm like, I have so many things I could play, but I don't know what to play. I did take a break and play Auction Not Included the day after Icarus, it was like a rough day, and I was like, I'm just gonna play something I know real quick and just relax and play that. But like, yeah, trying to figure out like what to play. Like, I wasn't feeling it. I got in that thing. I was like, I want to play multiplayer, but I don't have anybody to play multiplayer with right now. I have been watching someone play Supervive, and I don't know if you're familiar with that game. It's like I guess you call it like a squad MOBA battle royale top-down kind of thing, where it's like you pick your heroes, and they're all various types. There's some animals, there's humanoids, there's machines, and you essentially drop down on a map with multiple other squads, and there's like creep enemies you go and you destroy to level up. There's like bases you could raid, but then it's a battle royale, so you're also fighting against the other players. So you like run around the map and you try to look for them, take them out, yada yada yada. So it's like it's this interesting mix of like a MOBA. Instead of being a long match, it's a shorter match because it's a battle royale. But there's multiple teams instead of just one team versus another, and whatnot. So it's only in early access. It's like they've been doing these closed betas. So I watched someone stream it, and then Northernlion put out a VOD playing it. And it seems interesting because I was thinking about, I guess I could play this with someone else that was doing it over the weekend, but they had a full squad, and I was like, okay, I'm not going to install it right now. I'll wait, but it seems interesting. Like I've never played a MOBA, but a MOBA BR, that could work.
An interesting twist.
Yep. But all right, that's pretty much it. I don't have any other notes. I don't think I'm trying to go through here. The only note I'm really curious about like the rigs that certain VTubers use and how much they have to open their mouth when talking. Like how accurate is the camera? So that way, like how much do you have to pronounce and like, not just barely move your mouth when you're talking, but actually like open it up wide. That way the rig captures it depending on how much your model moves. Like if you're a PNG tuber, it's like it's fine. It just you don't have to do whatever. But like gotta capture your movements, but then like it's the mouth. I'm like, when you're moving left and right to move your model, it's like it's gotta be tough to capture the mouth super accurately. Like you must have like a 4K camera just zoomed right on your mouth or something. Like I don't know. Like I'm really interested.
I mean, there's settings for it. From what I understand, I have a friend who recently built and rigged their own VTuber model. So I was kind of chatting with them at their debut of like kind of what goes into it and stuff like that. And there's just like, it's mostly to do with the model itself because the software will pick it up fairly easily with just the camera. And it just kind of like not only detects your mouth, but detects your voice too. So like the model can be set to detect whether your mouth is physically closed or open or just if you're talking kind of thing. So it depends on the model itself too. If the model isn't necessarily rigged in a way to react like that, if it's just rigged to react to your voice and when you're talking and stuff like that, then it doesn't really detect whether your mouth is open or anything like that. So that's what basically they have. Because it's a little bit easier to just detect when they're talking, like when their mic is active. But I know obviously some bigger VTubers, they have it to where it's like full face tracking. It'll track where their eyes are looking. It'll track whether their mouth is open. It'll even detect like how close or far away they are from the camera, so the model will actually move back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
I think a really good kind of like mid-range example would be Chibidoki. Her model, it detects where she's looking and if her mouth is open or closed and how far away she is, stuff like that. And then you can get into like somebody like Zentreya who has full body tracking. It'll track her arms, it'll track like her head tilt and stuff like that. So I think it just depends on the model itself more than like the camera or the software picking it up.
Yeah, that makes sense for the just talking and it moving just pretty generally versus like because I see somewhere like because they don't have a mic like you said, they just like they might open out like and like clearly like if they don't say anything there's gasp, it's like it gasps. But I mean I guess the like memojis on iPhone are pretty good there, so it's like it's just got to be like a better higher fidelity version of that.
And I know Zentreya uses a pretty good webcam. I mean obviously because she has the full body tracking, so when she's standing up or anything like that, it has to be able to track a wider range. But Chibidoki, she uses her phone, so she just uses her phone camera plugged in because it's pretty funny. Her model will just stop working for like a full 5 minutes, and she'll look down and be like, my phone died. So yeah, she just uses her phone camera. But I just say Zentreya because she's the one that I watch more often. But I know that there's other VTubers that have like full body tracking, stuff like that too. So they have bigger cameras and better webcams and stuff like that. But I mean, I've been playing around with PNG Tuber Plus. It's the one of the PNG Tuber things. You can even get pretty detailed with that, although that is just vocal based pretty much, but you can add a lot of layers to it that makes the model react to like your voice pitch and different like triggers and stuff like that and different reactions from stream. And chat and stuff like that. So even the PNG tuber could get pretty reactive with just obviously the limited movement of a static image or a GIF.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the phones are, they got great cameras on those. So it's like using that as a great option. Like I thought about doing that for my webcam for a bit there, because like they have like when I bought the ring light, it comes with a phone little clasp mount that you can put on there. And I'm like, I could do that, but it's like, then I can't use my phone.
Yeah.
And also like, I'm not sure, like, okay, well, the camera won't make it hot, but like, and you don't have to use the light because the light will make it warm. But I'm like, I don't know, like how warm would it get? Probably not too warm versus like a charging, how warm it gets there. But yeah, like using those, like they're pretty good. Like phones, especially newer models, like I got great cameras on them. So
I know some people who use like old phones or like a Samsung phone or an iPhone, and their main phone is the other one, where they'll use that as their like temporary webcam or whatever instead. I guess you just have to worry about like how long you're going to be streaming and if the battery's going to last, and if you're going to keep it plugged in, it might overheat. So
yeah, so it's like great option for just a secondary camera, or like people that use like keyboard cams. Like I can see doing it there too, instead of needing like a DSLR. Yeah, your cat cam. Yeah, don't need DSLR to do that. It's like just use your phone. So it's like you said, if you have an extra one, like the Epoch Cam plugin for Elgato is like really good, and you can do that wirelessly. You don't have to use a cord. Like obviously a cord would keep it consistently stable if you have Wi-Fi issues, but you should be pretty good there. But anyways, all right. Well, I guess we can go ahead and call it there. Like I said, not much this week. I'm sure there won't be anything this week. So if we do end up recording next weekend, it'll probably just all gaming stuff, no doubt. Hopefully, I mean, if Isley has a computer, he'll talk about that. If he doesn't, then he won't be there. But next time we hear from him, he will have a computer of some sort.
He has no choice now.
Yep. All right. Well, we will call it there. Go tune and listen. Thank you, Desire, for joining. And we'll see you all next time.
Bye.